There are forces that work in silence against you. They hide in shadows, plotting, whispering, weaving traps. But what if I told you that with a single act of faith, you could expose every hidden agenda, every secret plan, every curse set against you? What if the very ink you write with and the fire that rises with the sun could become your weapon? Today, I will show you how to break their schemes and stand untouchable. When I speak of writing in red ink, I am not speaking about a mere pen or color. I am pointing you to something much deeper. Red has always carried meaning throughout time. It is the color of blood, the essence of life itself. It is the color of courage, of sacrifice, of unshakable authority. When you choose to write your words, your declarations, your affirmations, or even the schemes that you want exposed in red ink, you are making a statement that these things are sealed with a power beyond the ordinary. You are saying to every hidden force that what is written carries weight, and that weight cannot be erased by fear, doubt, or the silent whispers of your enemies. Think about this. Every empire, every covenant, every oath that had meaning was sealed in blood. The red ink symbolizes this same depth, this same seriousness. It is not just ink on paper, it is a spiritual seal. When you take that pen into your hand, it is as if you are declaring, "This is not my own strength. This is backed by something greater." And when you write the names of your fears, the traps laid for you, or the obstacles blocking your way, you are already beginning the process of stripping them of their power. Because once something is written down, it is no longer hidden. It is exposed, named, and brought into the light. There is another reason why this act holds such strength. Red is also the color of warning and command. Even in the physical world, red stops people in their tracks. It demands attention. It cannot be ignored. And so, when you use it in this way, you are sending a clear message. No matter what has been set against me, it cannot go unnoticed. It cannot stay concealed. It will not pass without consequence. You have now marked it, and what is marked must face judgment. Some may dismiss this as symbolic, but symbols are powerful. They speak directly to the subconscious. They carry meaning that words alone cannot convey. When you engage with red ink in this manner, you are training your spirit to recognize that you are not helpless. You are not defenseless, and you are not walking into battle unarmed. You are choosing a weapon that has been recognized throughout history as one of strength, authority, and unshakable resilience. So when you sit down to write, don't treat it as a casual act. Let every stroke of the pen be intentional. Let your heart know that this ink is not ordinary, it carries force. And let your enemies know that whatever was hidden in the shadows is now written in fire, colored words, sealed, marked, and set apart for destruction. There is something mysterious about the moment when night gives way to day. The world is silent, the air is different, and then slowly, the first rays of light break through the darkness. Sunrise is more than just the beginning of another day. It is a symbol, a spiritual announcement that what was hidden in the night cannot remain concealed any longer. Every plot, every whispered curse, every unseen scheme operates best in darkness, but darkness can never resist the rising of the sun. That is why sunrise holds such power. It is the moment when exposure happens naturally, when shadows retreat, and when clarity takes its rightful place. When you choose this time to burn what you have written, you are not just following a ritual, you are aligning yourself with the rhythm of nature itself. Night represents secrecy, confusion, fear, and silence, but the sun does not ask permission to rise, it simply does. And in that same way, when you burn at sunrise, you are declaring that exposure does not need approval from those who plotted against you. Their time of hiding has expired, their darkness has been pierced, and now the truth must come to light. Think about it. How many times in your life have things seemed uncertain, unclear, or hidden in shadows? Yet when light came, when understanding broke through, suddenly everything made sense. The same principle applies here. The schemes against you lose their grip when they can no longer remain secret. Fire at sunrise becomes the final blow. First the light reveals, then the flames consume. It is a declaration that you will no longer walk in uncertainty, no longer remain blind to what is happening around you, and no longer allow darkness to dictate your life. Even creation itself responds to sunrise. Birds begin to sing, flowers open, and the earth shifts into life. This is not coincidence, it is divine order. The earth is teaching us that with every sunrise, there is renewal, there is hope, and there is exposure of what the night tried to conceal. When you rise with that same intention, you are not just watching the sun, you are joining it, moving with its strength, declaring with your spirit that every hidden thing must be revealed. So do not underestimate the timing. When you write and burn at sunrise, you are not acting randomly. You are choosing the most powerful moment, when the heavens themselves declare that darkness has ended. You are stepping into agreement with the cycle of exposure, and in that moment, what was designed against you loses its hiding place. Fire has always carried a mystery that humanity could never ignore. From the earliest days, people gathered around it, drew warmth from it, and watched it consume what was placed within it. Fire is not gentle, it transforms everything it touches. What was solid turns to ash, what was strong becomes smoke, and what seemed permanent is reduced to nothing. That is why fire has been seen as both a destroyer and a purifier. When you take what you have written and place it in the flame, you are declaring that what was meant to bind you has no permanence. It will not last, it cannot survive the fire. The act is simple, yet its meaning is profound. Imagine holding in your hand the written record of fear, the names of enemies, the obstacles in your way, the hidden plots that you want uncovered. They may feel heavy when they are inside you, pressing on your thoughts, disturbing your peace. But when you place them in the flame, something happens. The fire does what only fire can do. It consumes. And in that moment, you are releasing those burdens from your heart and from your future. You are giving them a place to end. Think about the way fire behaves. It does not negotiate with what it burns. It does not ask permission. It takes hold, it spreads, and it finishes its work. This is why fire is so powerful in this practice. It represents finality. Once the paper is gone, there is no bringing it back. The curse written down cannot be rewritten. The scheme cannot be reconstructed. The trap cannot be reformed. Fire makes sure of that. It is not a symbol of weakness. It is the loudest statement of release, of authority, and of absolute closure. There is another reason why this is important. Fire has always been linked to purification. When gold is placed in the furnace, it is not destroyed, it is refined. The impurities are burned away, and only the purest form remains. The same happens in your life. When you allow fire to consume the words that once weighed you down, you are also allowing it to purify your spirit. You are left lighter, freer, and more focused, because what was not meant to stay with you has been burned away. This is not about superstition. It is about understanding the language of creation. Fire was designed to transform. When you join your intention with it, you are using a force of nature to speak on your behalf. And what it says is clear: what has been set against me will not stand. What has been written against me will not last. And what was meant to harm me has already been reduced to nothing. Every person walking this earth has an invisible battle taking place around them. Some of these battles are seen in the form of challenges, betrayals, or sudden opposition. But many of them are unseen, operating quietly behind the scenes. There are words spoken in secret, intentions formed in silence, energies directed against you without your knowledge. And while these things may remain hidden to the eyes of people, they are not hidden to the greater law of authority that governs all things. This is why it is said that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. But notice, it does not say weapons will not be formed. It acknowledges that they will be, yet it promises that they cannot succeed. That is where your role comes in. You must take your position in that authority, not as one who is vulnerable, but as one who commands the atmosphere around you. When you write in red, when you burn at sunrise, you are not simply performing an act of release. You are stepping into your spiritual authority. You are declaring that unseen enemies do not have the final word, that their hidden whispers will not dictate your destiny, and that their curses will not land upon your life. Authority is not about shouting or forcing. It is about standing in confidence, knowing that you are backed by something greater than what opposes you. And the moment you acknowledge that, the balance shifts. Think of it like this: hidden enemies thrive on fear and secrecy. They operate in the belief that you are unaware, unguarded, or powerless. But the moment you rise and declare, the moment you align your action with authority, you tear away their disguise. They can no longer operate in shadows because you have brought light to the matter. They can no longer plant fear because your courage has already spoken louder. Authority exposes weakness, and when you walk in it, every hidden enemy is forced to reveal themselves. This is why the act is so important. It is not the paper or the flame alone. It is your voice, your intention, and your certainty that you are not standing alone. Authority is not given to the fearful. It is given to the one who understands their place. And once you realize that, every hidden enemy loses the advantage they thought they had. They can try to rise, but they cannot stand. They can try to speak, but their words fall powerless. Do not forget, this authority is not about reacting to what comes against you. It is about declaring beforehand that nothing can take root in your life unless you allow it. And you will not allow it. That is the power you carry, and that is why hidden enemies will never have the victory over you. There is a law that governs the unseen just as surely as gravity governs the earth. It is the law of exposure and return. Whatever is hidden in darkness will eventually come to light, and whatever is sent out in malice will circle back to the one who released it. This is not about revenge, nor is it about you trying to fight battles in your own strength. It is about understanding that no thought, no word, no curse, and no plot goes unnoticed. The universe itself is designed to echo back what was spoken, what was intended, and what was done in secrecy. When you choose to write and burn at sunrise, you are simply accelerating that law, aligning yourself with it, and declaring that exposure and return must now take place. Think of how a shadow behaves. It can stretch, it can hide, it can seem larger than life under the cover of night, but the moment the light shines, it disappears. The schemes against you operate the same way. They thrive in the dark, they gather power when they believe you cannot see them, but once exposed, they shrink back to nothing. And exposure does not stop at revealing, it carries consequence. Those who design traps often forget that they are stepping into their own snare. The very net they spread for you becomes the net that catches them. This is why the burning at sunrise is so powerful. It is not just you letting go, it is you invoking the law that demands return. What you put into the fire is symbolically lifted into the light, no longer hidden, no longer dormant. And in that moment, what was intended for you shifts direction. The weight you once carried is no longer yours. The energy that was pressing on your life no longer belongs to you. It goes back, silently but surely, to the place it came from. But understand this clearly. It is not for you to wish harm or to cling to bitterness. The law does not require your anger. It only requires your release. Your responsibility is simply to let it go, to put it in the fire, to stand at sunrise and declare that what was hidden will no longer remain concealed. The rest is already set in motion. What was sown must be reaped, what was spoken must return, and what was plotted must face its own consequence. And once you recognize this, you stop living in fear of hidden enemies. You stop wondering who is speaking against you, who is moving in shadows, who is whispering lies. It no longer matters, because every tongue will expose itself, every plot will turn, every curse will return. You do not need to fight them, the law fights for you. When the act is complete, when the words have been written, when the fire has consumed them, and when the sun has risen, you are left with something greater than the ashes. You are left with a new awareness of who you are and what you carry. Too often, people walk through life weighed down by invisible chains, fearing curses, dreading opposition, wondering what might be working against them. But once you have stood in your authority, once you have seen the fire erase what was meant for your harm, you rise differently, you rise untouchable. This does not mean that challenges will not come or that enemies will never form plans against you. It means that their power has been stripped away. They may throw stones, but they cannot hit you. They may set traps, but your steps will not fall into them. They may whisper against you, but their words will dissolve before they ever reach your destiny. You begin to walk with a calm strength, a knowing in your spirit that you cannot be stopped by shadows, and that knowing changes the way you live. Fear loses its grip on you. Instead of constantly looking over your shoulder, wondering who is against you, you begin to look forward with confidence. You stop living as though you are under threat, and you start living as though you are already victorious. That shift in mindset is the greatest armor you can ever wear. Because the truth is, most of the power of curses and hidden schemes comes not from the act itself, but from the fear it creates in the one who believes they are trapped by it. Once you realize they hold no true power over you, the game ends. You begin to move with clarity. The noise of distraction fades, and you are able to focus on your purpose, your growth, and your path forward. You stop wasting energy on things that do not matter, on people who cannot harm you, on thoughts that do not belong to you. Instead, you channel that energy into building, into rising, into becoming. And with each step, the evidence of your untouchability grows stronger. The enemies may still try, but you no longer meet them with fear. You meet them with silence, with peace, with the unshakable truth that their efforts cannot touch what has already been secured. This is not arrogance, it is clarity. It is the realization that you are walking in light, and light cannot be overcome by darkness. No matter how much darkness gathers, it will never be enough to put out even the smallest flame. And you, having walked through this act, have become that flame. So from this moment on, carry yourself with the certainty that nothing formed in secret can stand against you. You are untouchable, and untouchable you will remain.